everybody, my name is Brooklyn Quisenberry, and today I'm going to be talking about the Cloze Method. So the Cloze Method is used to test students' understanding and comprehension of reading. With this method, you will take a passage, remove the key terms, and replace these key terms with blanks, having your students fill in what the missing words are. So this is a perfect way to help our students gain a working understanding of new vocabulary words and comprehension of the text. So when looking at the Cloze Method, we can see that this can be used throughout all of the language TELPUS PLDs from beginning to advanced high. And this is because of how versatile this method is. So when looking at the beginning to intermediate, we might remove only 1 to 5 key terms out of a passage, but when looking at advanced to advanced high, you could remove up to 12 keywords from a passage. So like I said, this method is very versatile in the fact that you can pick your passage that you want your students to read, choose the key terms that you want your students to be able to fill in, and also how many. So that's why it can go from beginning to advanced high. For this lesson that we're going to look at as a practice today, the TEKs are based out of science and language arts because the passage that I chose is a science passage, and since it is a passage, it's obviously reading. So the first TEK that we're going to talk about is matter and energy, and this is just talking about solids versus liquids and matter, and that's what the passage is about later on in this presentation. And then the second TEK is for language arts, and it is talking about comprehension skills and evaluating details read to determine key ideas, which is exactly what the Cloze Method is. So for the content objective of the passage that the students would read in this example is the students will be able to correctly identify Tier 3 domain-specific words given a science passage with missing key terms, getting 70% accuracy or above. Then, when looking at the ELPs, two that are awesome for the Cloze Method are speak using grade level content area vocabulary in context, and show comprehension of English text individually and in groups. So the language objective for the Cloze Method would be the students will be able to orally justify his or her selection of Tier 3 domain-specific words using the sentence format, I selected blank because blank. And this is important because after your students fill in the Cloze Method, you can ask them, why did you choose this key term? And they can orally present you with their reasoning. So when looking at the language acquisition theory, it's important to notice that this theory is saying basically that students who are learning a new target language don't learn just based off of grammar alone, but they learn based off of important interactions. And so the Cloze Method really fits in with this because the Cloze Method isn't focusing on grammar, but it's focusing on, can I read this passage and put a word in there that will make it make sense? It's not about, is the word in the right tense, is the word in the right format. It's just about really gaining understanding of the language. So now we're going to look at a practice example of the Cloze Method. And so, like I said, I took a passage over solids and liquids, and I deleted the key terms, and I would present it to the students. So this says, what do shoes, paper, and cheese all have in common? They are all blank. Blank are things that have a shape of their own. So the student reads that and they're like, oh, I think that's solids. So they would fill that in. They do not flow like blank do. Well, what flows? Liquids. Computers, trees, and soccer balls are also, well, they're solids. So the student would keep going throughout this entire passage and continue to fill in the correct words within it. And that is all that the Cloze Method is. It's super easy, very versatile, and easy to implement within your classrooms.